Techie Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
The Sunrisers batting lineup, stacked with in-form sensations, has been carried by an unheralded 20-year-old. Nitish Reddy's 64 of 37 takes Hyderabad to 182 for 9 against Punjab Kings in Mullanpur, an innings which also saw Arshdeep Singh and Harshal Patel find their way back to bowling form. Gives us a lot to dissect at halftime here on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout in the company of Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer. Tom, that batting card looked like it could have gone anywhere given the start Sunrisers had. But for a youngster to come and bat this way and take them over 180, special.
Yeah, very good. It's always nice to see, a relatively unknown player come in and take their opportunity. Early wickets for Sunrisers. But, I think it's important to highlight it wasn't easy batting early on. It appeared the ball was moving not only in the air but a little bit off the seam as well. So it's going to happen, I'd imagine, in both innings. There doesn't appear to be any dew around at this stage. But, yeah, it's an interesting card. Even though Sunrisers felt the need to use their impact sub really through more of a, panic stations when they lost 3 wickets. We saw Tripathi come in, which I don't think would have been in their plan A. It was probably plan B, and they pressed the trigger on that. Didn't quite come off, but, at the end of the day, I think they'll be happy with the total.
Early thoughts, Mitch, on how that first innings played
out? First innings was good, but I have to say, that's the first time I've noticed your little pocket handkerchief. It's a nice little number, that.
Right,
Sorry,
okay.
Before we get back to it.
Observant.
It looked very sharp in the little close-up shot
It's all to do with the theme of the rivalry week, and this is the Sunrisers pocket.
It's nice. It's good, yeah. It's come out a little bit more, hasn't it, after they finished that innings?
Answer the question.
Answer the question. Answer the question is, look, I thought it was a great finish. I don't think they would have got close to where they got to if the Abdul Samad didn't come in and chime in as well. That was a very important knock. A great little partnership towards the end there, and the benefit of this impact sub rule is that, Tripathi didn't come off today, but he still hit 11 off, 12 balls or something of those likes. But he gave them the ability just to extend that order a little bit more. And the way Punjab tried to bowl today, they tried to use their resources a little bit earlier, and it kind of came back and kind of worked in Hyderabad's favour towards the end. I must say that Arshdeep, very good for Punjab Kings, that he's got back into some form. He looked the goods last game, and this game he was great at the top, swung the ball nicely, got the early breakthroughs that forced that impact player for Sunrisers. But, it was good to see him return to form.
Yeah, lots of bits to pick on, and as Tom mentioned, already seen the impact card used by Sunrisers early on as they got Rahul Tripathi in after they lost 3 in the power play. But let's first focus on Nitish Reddy. And Wasim, you've seen a bit of him. He'd only played 40 innings before getting his IPL debut last week. Career high score of 41 before this, but you'd seen him before.
Yeah, I had the fortune of leading him in an Indian Oil team. We had picked him as an under-19 young boy, and there was a buzz around that, he's a good all-rounder. Obviously, he was not what he is today, but he could bowl at 130s even then, and could bat decently. And there's no surprises. He always had potential, and I heard he had a very good season with Andhra as well. So, and coming in at this stage and performing like this, goes on to show he does possess a very good future and an impressive batting show. Considering the big boys hasn't come good, and they still managed to put 182. So, saying that it's not a bad total at all.
How did you find the shot making? Some of the shots off in that over of Harpreet Brar, which went for 22, which feels like an important over in the context of the game.
Yeah, very important. To me it was, a sign of a player that had little fear of failure. He recognised it was a good matchup for him. He's obviously a good player or good hitter of spin. And, I think the interesting thing is that it looked like it did a bit for the seamers throughout the whole innings. So maybe he thought, this is my chance to actually try to get that big over, because it's going to be harder to get it off the pace bowlers. But he's a good clean hitter, isn't he? Hits a long ball, and he's got shots around the ground as well. He played some nice pull shots off the quicks, plus also down the ground as well. So, a nice innings all round. Just 37 balls he faced.
Yeah. Strike rate of 173 almost. Not in anyone's picks. Not many in the world would have known much about Nitish Kumar Reddy, but that's another player unearthed by the IPL this season. Just staying on the Sunrisers' batting effort, and it's worth asking what made them go for that move as early as they did. Tom, you're 3 down. You do have Shahbaz, Samad and Klaasen yet to come out. What explains them going for that card to play Rahul Tripathi at that point?
I think it's more to do with the balance of their side. So whether they play Tripathi or not, they still feel they've got the depth in their bowling if they play a extra specialist batter, if they hit a sort of a crisis point. And we've been speaking about Reddy, and he's one that adds that depth to their bowling attack. You've got Markram also, who's international quality, spinner. He bowls for South Africa quite often in power play. So they've got options to use. So it's a luxury pick for Sunrisers because they're so nicely balanced. And the other one is Abhishek Sharma, who we saw bowl the first over the other day. So they probably just weighed up and thought the value was tonight in the batting sub against having the extra variety with their bowling attack.
And they then probably want to expose Klaasen too early as well. That must have been the reason. I think it was in 6th or 7th over that he came in, 39 for 3.
That's correct.
That was probably too early for Klaasen to come in. The ideal entry point would be from 10 to 12 overs. So maybe that was the reason.
Yeah, and as well, they wouldn't have been expecting for Nitish Reddy to come out and do what he did. So they would have been thinking, hey, we've assessed the wicket at the start from the toss that we saw. It was supposed to be around a 200 wicket. And they would have been said, well, we need to play an extra batter to get us to somewhere near that total. So, I mean, while they didn't get 200, I think they've got a score probably 10 below par, but they've got the bowling lineup to be able to defend that.
Correct. That covers that move from Sunrisers. Let's focus on the Punjab bowling. We spoke about how their seamers had been having a tough time, but Arshdeep Singh finishes 4 for 29, including 2 wickets in the power play, and impressive returns for Harshal Patel too for the first time this season in Punjab colours. Let's start with you, Mitch, on the left-arm seamer. What did Arshdeep Singh do differently today, and why was he as effective?
Well, not differently today compared to what he did last game. And I think you've got to look at it from a whole planning perspective from Punjab, is that they actually gave him the opportunity with the new ball, where he's the best, where he's the most effective. And he took that 2nd and 4th over today, and I thought he bowled exceptionally well. He got the ball to move. His links were impeccable. I thought they were brave after not taking a wicket in the first 2 overs to keep bowling Rabada and Arshdeep. Generally, when those first 2 overs you don't take a wicket, that 3rd over can go for some runs if you don't change the bowler up. And they stuck with their guns today and were rewarded. And that's massive for, I think it's probably almost looking at like what Mumbai's had to do with Bumrah. They've said, well, we need to bowl our 2 best bowlers at the top and try to make breakthroughs. And today they were rewarded with that.
We'd spoken of Punjab's bowling plans and how they could consider moving these bowlers around given the lack of form. How did that play out? It turns out that they didn't even use Sikandar Raza at all today.
Yeah, well, even though they lost early wickets, I thought there was a moment in the middle of the innings that, Raza could have bowled and just took some pressure off Bra's overs. But that was potentially a miss because, his success over the last 12 months or so has been excellent in this format of the game. I felt the way that Shikhar Dhawan used Rabada was really good up front because normally he's had different times where he's bowled. He hasn't always taken the new ball, and they recognised that the Head and Abhishek Sharma partnership was a major threat. So let's get the best bowler bowling at those players, and it makes sense not only for this game, makes sense for every game in my view. Rabada is one of the world's best bowlers. Why wouldn't you give him the new ball and just say, right, you just do your thing and see if you can nick a couple off for us?
Yep.
And it worked tonight. And again, the conditions were particularly well suited for Rabada and Arshdeep, who took full advantage of that power play.
Yeah, they also managed to plan it such that Harshal Patel today didn't bowl a single over in the death. 1 in the power play, 3 through the middle, and he finishes with the wickets of Tripathi and Heinrich Klaasen having given away only 30.
Yeah, I mean, that worked for him. Obviously, was short on confidence. Probably not bowling him in the death is right way to go. And they saved two for Arshdeep in the death, which worked out well. And probably one or two games like that will boost his confidence, and then you can probably throw him in the death, once he's back at his best.
Right. Just as the Punjab openers, Dhawan and Bairstow, walk out to bat, it's worth spending a few minutes on what could be a vital matchup in this game. We've seen Pat Cummins, as Sunrisers captain, bowl himself a lot through the middle overs. More than half his overs have come in the middle, but that's how Pat Cummins has been deployed so far this season. A new thing for him in the IPL if you consider his past seasons in the IPL, but he comes in with strong numbers against both Shikhar Dhawan and Johnny Bairstow. Do you see Cummins using himself any differently, Tom?
If he sees those numbers, possibly yes, which I'm sure the analysts would have highlighted that. I think the other thing he would have noticed is the movement that's there with the new ball. And again, a bit like Rabada, he's one of the world's best bowlers, so if you give him some conditions that are slightly favourable, he's probably the best to exploit that. So I'd be very surprised. Well, Boovie will probably take the first one, no doubt, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Cummins doesn't take the second.
Yeah.
How do you see the bowling plans through the power play?
I think they've still got a really good total on the board, and I think they've bowled pretty well as a unit, so I can't really see them making any changes from I don't think we'll see Pat take the new ball. I think if they get in trouble, I think he'll come in maybe fourth or fifth over. But he's been so effective in the middle, and he's been a real rock-solid bowler through that period. So I'd imagine he stays in that role.
All right, let's get a quick round of predictions. 183 is the target for Punjab. Who's fancying whom? Wasim?
I'm fancying Punjab to chase this.
Right. Mitch?
I think Sunrisers are going to defend this. I think they've got a quality bowling lineup. So, yeah, I think they'll defend it. It's going to, be a last ball finish. Exciting one.
Ooh. All right, Sunrisers colours, standing firm, does Tom Moody. Before we wrap, let's also congratulate Wasim Jaffer, who has landed an outrageous pick from the first innings. Said Harpreet Brar will go for more than 40, and he did. 4 overs for 48, easily the most expensive Brar has been this season. So 5 points coming your way, Wasim. Mitch, hopefully you catch up with...
I've got no chance. I'm going negative again today. Klaasen, Markram second ball, and Brar went for more than 40, so I'm cooked.
He's got nothing left in his tank.
Yeah,
You
I've
need
got
Markram
nothing left.
bowling.
I need Markram to bowl and take Pfeiffer.
You might as well go home, mate.
Can I?
You're done.
Yeah, sweet. Can I?
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and company. We will pick up the conversation at the end of this game. 183 is the target for Punjab. Can they get over the line against Hyderabad? Keep following the game on the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app. We'll have you covered with all the analysis from this game and build up to the games coming up in the IPL as well as elsewhere in the world of cricket. And join us at the end of Punjab versus Hyderabad on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.